We often think that saying no makes us difficult. But in reality, I think this is what makes us dignified. Because what we are saying no to, this is what defines our peace just as much as what we say yes to defines our potential. And somewhere along the way, we forgot this. We learned to say yes too quickly, and to say yes when our bodies were saying no, to say yes when we didn't really have the capacity, to say yes maybe when we didn't want to lose love. We in essence, we built these identities around compliance, and then we called this kindness. We made exhaustion our default and called it generosity. And then we mistook boundarylessness for virtue. But this is not love. This is self-erasure. Welcome. This is Uber Bintegers, where we stop apologizing for our boundaries and we start living from our worth. But here's why no should be considered sacred. See, no is not a rejection. No is a revelation. It reveals what actually matters. It reveals what drains you. It reveals what you've outgrown. It reveals what deserves your energy and what never did deserve your energy. See, every no is an act of honesty. Every no is an act of respect. Every no is this declaration that says, my peace is not negotiable. But for many of us, this kind of a no feels unnatural, almost rebellious. See, we've been raised to associate self-denial with virtue and to confuse compliance with love, to believe that saying no means we're selfish, cold, or ungrateful. But the truth is, we can't live in integrity without limits. There's this fear behind saying no, I think. So let's name this fear. We fear that no will cost us connection. We fear that it will make people leave. We fear that it will make us seem arrogant, right? We fear that it will make us unlikable. And so we keep saying yes. We keep overextending. We stay in these conversations that really drain us. And we stay in these relationships that diminish us, and jobs that exhaust us. And then we wonder why resentment builds quietly in the background. But resentment is just, it's like the tax that we pay for saying yes when we really meant no. See, you can't sustain connection that's built on self-abandonment. If people only love the version of you that never says no, they don't love you. They love your compliance. And this is not connection. That's convenience. But integrity is this power move of honest refusal. See, integrity is what helps you distinguish between should and soul. It's the inner clarity that says, I don't owe everyone access to me. It's the strength to act from conviction instead of acting from guilt. Integrity doesn't make you harsh. Integrity makes you clear. It says, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is where I draw the line. And every no that's rooted in integrity is an act of alignment. Because saying no isn't about rejecting others. It's about protecting your truth. When we live with integrity, our yes loses meaning, right? If we don't mean it. When we live from integrity, both our yes and our no will carry the same amount of respect. Integrity is what redefines no from a reaction to a rhythm. It becomes part of our spiritual hygiene, if you will. It becomes how we keep our energy clean. And intimacy is being able to say no with love. Intimacy teaches us that boundaries don't end connection, but by contrast, it actually deepens it. When we say no with honesty and care, we create safety. And we teach others how to trust us. And we show them that our yes actually does mean yes. Intimacy requires clarity, not constant accessibility. It's not loving to overextend yourself until you're resentful. It's not compassionate to say yes and then to silently suffocate yourself. Real love doesn't demand that we disappear for the sake of harmony. Real love invites us to show up truthfully, even when that truth is a no. And yes, some people will walk away, but those who do stay, they'll respect you deeply because your presence will feel real. Intimacy that's built on false compliance is always fragile. But intimacy that's built on truth is solid, it's unshakable. But here's why no feels like guilty at first. When we start saying no from self-respect, guilt may show up. Guilt is it's like the ghost of old conditioning. It's not proof that you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're doing something new. See, you're rewiring a lifetime of people pleasing, and you're learning that peace doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from not abandoning yourself. See, the first time you say no to something that you used to tolerate, it will feel very much like a loss. But the 10th time when you do it, it'll start feeling more like freedom. And it's how you redefine what you're protecting. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. Boundaries are frameworks to keep you whole. And when you say no, you're not shutting people out. You're making space for what's right. You're protecting your energy for alignment. You're preserving your bandwidth for what actually is yours to carry. Integrity says something like, I will not betray myself to make others comfortable. And then intimacy doubles up on that and says, I will communicate truth even when this costs me approval. And together, those two, they form boundaries that aren't defensive, but more so declarative. They declare that I'm not available for disrespect, or I'm not available for chaos. I'm not available for guilt as a currency. I'm not even available for love that requires my silence. That's what self-worth sounds like when it speaks up. Boundaries can be seen now with this lens as invitations. So here's the secret I think most people don't really realize. Your boundaries don't just protect your worth. Your boundaries actually model your worth. Every time you honor your no, you're teaching others how to respect themselves as well. And every time you show up truthfully, you're giving permission for authenticity to exist in the room. And when you stop apologizing for your boundaries, now you're creating space for others to stop apologizing for theirs as well. And that's what living from worth looks like in practice. And in essence, it becomes contagious. So boundaries are not barriers to intimacy. They're bridges to truth. They create structure which love can actually breathe within. So what does this look like from guilt to groundedness? See, there will be months when your no will cost you something. It might cost you a relationship or an opportunity or even like your sense of comfort. But nothing worth keeping will require you to constantly betray yourself. And when your no is anchored in your worth, it stops being a weapon and now becomes a mirror. It reflects how far you have come along the way. It reflects how deeply you've learned to honor your own energy. And the beauty is this: every no makes your yes more sacred, more compelling, because now your yes is chosen instead of coerced. But here's what practicing worth through your nose could look like. Start small. Say no to one thing that is draining you today. Say no to the request that was guilt tripped to you. Say no to the habit that keeps you performing instead of being present. And as you do these things, start watching what happens. Watch how your energy begins to return, or how your confidence begins to strengthen, and how your relationships start to shift, and maybe your peace becomes non-negotiable. Every no can now become this statement of identity, because worth is not proven by what you do. No, worth is revealed, if you will, by what you're no longer willing to tolerate. Tomorrow, we're going to explore a little bit of how to celebrate yourself without permission, how to honor your growth and your goodness without waiting for external applause. So I can't wait for that. But for today, please remember this, my dear listener. Every no you say from love and from self-respect is an act of liberation. And you're not difficult. You're being discerning. And this discernment is sacred. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow's episode.